Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh!
Are you kidding me?
And gone!
Welcome back to the Schoolyard Sports podcast. I'm the host of this podcast, Lane Frank. We're now on episode 205. So we're 205 episodes through, and I got an action-packed episode planned for you. March is here. It means we got March Madness and college basketball coming right up. NBA is heating up. We got baseball this month, NFL offseason about to get going. There's so much more. Let's dive into this action-packed episode 205. Let's start off episode 205, how we always do, with our headlines and the NBA. First things first in the NBA, I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns, because the Suns have been struggling as of late. It's kind of been a common theme for them all season. It's a pure example to me of a team that really had a rough stretch for about 10 years. The 2010s were not kind to the Phoenix Suns. Then they had a great rebuild. They made the NBA Finals. They saw some good success in the finals. I mean, their first time in the playoffs in 10 years, they made the NBA Finals. They didn't win it, though. Then they went full, let's go blow up this team. Let's get the superstars that we need on this team. They went after Kevin Durant. They went after Bradley Beal. They got rid of some of the younger stars. The only younger star they kept was Devin Booker. But you're getting rid of core pieces like Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, a few other guys in this team. They're just gone. The future of this team is not set up well at all. They were at one point. They could have been like the Oklahoma City Thunder, how they are right now. Except they're in a different direction. And it's tough to see with the Phoenix Suns, but their struggles this season represent everything that's happened with this franchise over the past 5 years. The highs, the lows, the big highs, the big lows, and then where we are right now, which might just be a big low point, everybody. Tough to see out of the Phoenix Suns, but I don't think they've hit rock bottom just yet. The Lakers, everybody, are on fire, and I love to see it. I looked at the standings today, and I thought the Lakers are maybe hovering around 500, somewhere in there. You look up, there's 17 games above 500, everybody, and the Lakers are on about 7-game win streak. They're doing great, on fire. Luka Doncic, I was critical of him the past few episodes. Not anymore. They're on fire, Lakers. Love to see it. Lake Show in great action. The best Lakers team since that championship run. Yes, say it right there. 2 seed in the Western Conference. It's great to see. This is the best Lakers have been since about February of 2021 when LeBron got hurt the year after the championship run, when they were sitting about the 1 or 2 seed in the Western Conference. Lakers back in that 2 spot right now, doing a great job this season. JJ Redick. Knicks, everybody, doing a little bit better. Had a great comeback win the other day against the Miami Heat. Still on path for 50 wins. Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, proven to be a great duo. You'll love to see it. Last thing in the NBA, Ja Morant, report came out this week. He might just be done with the Memphis Grizzlies. After this season, Ja Morant may be finding a new home, wherever that might be. But interesting to see because Ja Morant and the Grizzlies, they're having a good year. When Ja is healthy, when Jaren Jackson's healthy, Grizzlies are a top 4 team in the Western Conference. No doubt about it. So a little interesting to me that they might be moving on from Ja after this year. Switch things over to the NFL. Not too much news in the NFL. Wrapped up the NFL scouting combine. A few fireworks in there. Wasn't the most exciting combine. We'll talk about it later. But Deebo Samuel headed over to the Washington Commanders. You look up, and it's a blink of an eye. Deebo Samuel is 29 years old. He's not a superstar anymore. And he's being traded to the Washington Commanders for a 5th-round pick. Deebo's not a superstar anymore. This trade reflects that. Washington's they don't really have many great pieces. Maybe Deebo can fit in there with Terry McLaurin, with Zach Ertz at the tight end position. When Deebo's going to play wide receiver, he'll probably play across Terry McLaurin, get another target for Jaden Daniels in there. But a guy who was once one of the best gadget players in the NFL really hasn't been used much the past few years. Injuries, drama off the field. Deebo Samuel head over to the Washington Commanders. Last thing in the NFL, Matthew Stafford headed back to the Rams on a restructured deal. So no incredible trade to the Las Vegas Raiders, New York Jets, New York Giants. He'll stay put in LA where he should be. I think the Rams and Stafford are both happy about that. Let's switch things over to MLB to close it off. Spring training going on right now. We got fireworks coming up this season. Can't wait to see it. Not too much news in the MLB outside of just spring training, the fun of it, the great of it. Arizona, Florida. Still more to come on Schoolyard Sports. Lane Frank, episode 205. Now, I'm not one who likes to be harsh that much on this show, but I have to say it right here. The NFL Combine this year sucked. It sucked, the Combine this year. It's back-to-back weeks of doing Take of the Week on the NFL Combine. Last week, it was how Shedeur Sanders, Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter, these stars, they didn't want to compete in the 40-yard dash, in the Combine, in the drills, which kind of made it suck a little bit more right then. But it just flat out wasn't an enjoyable Combine. Maybe it's just an event. It should be closed doors. for NFL scouts to look over. The most exciting thing from the combine was this Deebo Samuel deal, this Matthew Stafford deal getting done. That was the most exciting thing, not the actual players in the field. For the fastest 40 time to be a 4.29 by Matthew Golden, when his teammate Isaiah Bond said, yeah, I'm going to run a 4.1 in the 40-yard dash if I'm feeling good, but I'm definitely beating Xavier Worthy's record. For him to run a 4.4 after saying that, disgraceful. Combine wasn't great. Quarterbacks didn't wow. We didn't see Shadur. We didn't really see Cam Ward. We didn't see Ashton Genty run the 40. It wasn't an exciting combine to me. It flat out sucked in every facet this year, in my opinion. It's not a thing that I'm going to watch next year because it wasn't enjoyable to me this year. Why would I watch it next year? That's about my take of the week on the NFL Combine. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now, top 5. This week's top 5 is the top 5 teams in the NBA. Let's hop into it. I got 2 honorable mentions on here, and then I got the list of 5 to 1. Let's hop into it. My 2 honorable mentions, starting out with the first one, are the Memphis Grizzlies. Talked about them a little bit in the headlines. John Morant had them, my hot takes last week, as being a finals contender out of the West. But I think this team still outside lurking in for that top 5. Jaren Jackson Jr., the best defender in the NBA. He's going to get paid well this summer. But the Grizzlies right now, looking at probably number 7 on my list. Honorable mention. Next one, the Denver Nuggets. This one might be a little bit controversial because they obviously won the NBA championship 2 years ago. Nikola Jokic is a however many time MVP. Jamal Murray's kind of hitting his stride right now. Michael Porter Jr. is having a good season. Aaron Gordon's balling out for the Denver Nuggets. They should be a top 5 team in a lot of people's eyes. Not in my eyes, though, everybody. I think there's a lot of guys that can beat this team. A lot of teams that can beat this Denver Nuggets team. And top 5 definitely can do that. So I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets on the outside looking in right here as an honorable mention. Now, let's hop into the real top 5 teams in the NBA. Starting out with number 5, my New York Knicks, everybody. Knicks, say what you want. Say they don't beat good teams. They'll beat up on the crappy teams. They'll beat up on any other team outside of the top 3, in my opinion. And that's what they've done all season long. Knicks only have 20 losses. I think 7 of those or 8 of those come to top 3 teams in the NBA, who are obviously on this list. But Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, I think some of those games they're going to start winning pretty soon. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, they're getting healthy. This team's playing well at the right time. 5, New York Knicks. 4, Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers, you can say they're a little bit low, you can say they're a little bit high. Their record is number 2 in the Western Conference. They're playing great basketball. I mean, I expect this to keep on going up and up and up. The run they're kind of on right now reminds me of when the Brooklyn Nets got James Harden in their first year with KD and Kyrie, and they went on a 15-game winning streak. That's not me saying the Lakers can go on a 15-game winning streak, but what it looks like right now is that the Lakers can't lose, and that's what they're doing right now. They're not losing. So number 4, Los Angeles Lakers. 3, this one might get a lot of people upset. Because record-wise, this is the best team in the NBA, and that's Cleveland Cavaliers. But this team, this core, has never won a playoff series. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, them together, they've never won a playoff series. I don't know what I can see out of them in the playoffs. Kenny Atkinson has never won anything as a head coach in his career, so I can't put them in the top 2. But 3, Cleveland Cavaliers, they're having a great regular season. You'll love to see it. 2, the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics have 8 more losses than the Cavs, and they're the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are reigning champions. They're having a good year by their standards, by NBA standards, and I think come playoff time, Celtics are going to take down the Cavs in that playoff series. So 2, Boston Celtics. Number 1, the best team in the NBA is the Oklahoma City Thunder. You watch this team. Mark Daiglenutt's a great head coach. Lou Dort knows what he's doing on defense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets to the free throw line a lot, but it works. Chet Holmgren, when healthy, is one of the best players in the NBA. Their bench is deep. You got Jalen Williams starting and Jalen Williams on the bench. Both those guys, same last name, same first name. A little bit funny there. But the Oklahoma City Thunder are a great team, and they're number 1 on my list of the top 5. That's about our top 5 this week. Now, did you know? This week's Did You Know? It's a great one. Did you know that in the past 20 years of March Madness, no non-Power 5 team has ever won a national championship? So you might think that your Cinderella team, when you're picking out your bracket from Conference USA, from the American Conference, is going to win national championship. Let's slow down a little bit there. These power conferences, the Big East, the SEC, the Big Ten, and the ACC, and the Big 12 are going to win the national championship this year. There's no doubt about it in my mind. The one example that you might say, hey, they were in a power conference when they won it, UConn in 2014, but UConn had won a national championship 3 years before. It was their first year in the American after being in the Big East for so many years. Now they're back in the Big East. So UConn, I'm not counting them in that group of non-Power 5 schools. Yes, Power 5 school is going to win the national championship this year. History, the past 20 years shows that. Did you know that? Leave that in the comments. That's about for Did You Know this week. Now, I don't know if a lot of you guys have been watching this show since I was 12. I mean, we're on episode 205 now. I'm 17 years old. But back on episode 1, when I was 12 years old, right after the bubble, I said it was an end of an era for the Philadelphia 76ers. They were getting rid of Mike Brown. They were getting rid of it seemed like Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Ended up hanging on to both of them. They did get a new head coach, though. And they got a good head coach in there, and Doc Rivers. But still, at the time, it seemed like things were going to blow up for the Philadelphia 76ers, and things have mostly kept intact since then. Doc Rivers left, Ben Simmons left, but the main thing that has stayed there this whole time has been Joel Embiid. But I think it's fair to say now, and I'm going to call it right now, it's an end of an era for Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, it is over. There's no coming back from this, because I think it's over for the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid. When you get that news alert, then Embiid's out for the rest of the season after only playing, 19 games? This season in 24-25? Not incredible. 19 games for your superstar. Okay, Embiid won MVP. He did. He completed his goal. He won an MVP. He's never made conference finals. He's never had a huge impact on playoff series. It's the problem with Joel Embiid. No star has ever played with Joel Embiid for more than 3 years. Ben Simmons fizzled out. James Harden fizzled out. Jimmy Butler fizzled out. Maybe Joel Embiid is the problem here. Let's break it down. Joel Embiid is 30 years old. He missed the first 2 seasons of his NBA career, all of 2014, 2015, all of 2015, 2016. It's remarkable the career he's had after missing 2 full seasons. But the fact is, this guy's never been healthy in his career. He played 31 games his first year in the NBA in 2016, 2017. He played 63 the next year. It's pretty good. 64 the year after that. It's pretty great for a guy like Joel Embiid. 51 the next year. 51 the year after that in 2020, 2021, which is impressive in a 72-game season. 68 in 21-22. So he's actually been healthy, a little point in his career. 66 in 22-23. Then we get to last year, 39 games. We get to this year, 19 games. And the fact is, what's next for Joel Embiid? Is it a medical retirement? Because that's an option the Sixers might be weighing if he isn't healthy by next year. That they can force a medical retirement on Joel Embiid to where they don't have to pay his contract anymore if he's not healthy by next season. Joel Embiid has missed 2 full seasons in his career before. There is no doubt in my mind that he won't be healthy next year. I know it's rude for me to say that. I know it's harsh, but it's the truth. If Joel Embiid can't play now, if he can't play more than 20 games now, he'll never play more than 30 games in a season for the rest of his career. I'm calling it now. Joel Embiid's career, we all thought one day could end short because of these injuries. I think that day might be coming up soon, everybody. For Joel Embiid, for the 76ers. End of an era or end of an era for the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid? That's my spotlight for you this week. That's my question to you. What's next for Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers? Now, college basketball hoops madness, everybody. The first one is March Madness. I can't wait for March Madness, for the NCAA tournament on March 20th when it starts. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for that bracket episode coming up in 2 weeks. But right now, we got to fill out who are going to win these conference tournaments. Not talking about who's going to win the conference, the regular season, because in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't mean much when it comes to March. It matters, can you win your conference tournament? We're going to pick the 5 power conferences and who's going to win these conference tournaments. Starting out with the big one, the SEC, the best conference in college basketball, where they'll probably get 10-plus teams into the NCAA tournament. Who's getting in from the SEC? Who's winning the automatic ticket from the SEC? I'm going to go with the Tennessee Volunteers, everybody. It's an upset. It's over Auburn, who's ranked ahead of them. It's over Florida, who's ranked ahead of them. Tennessee's ranked above Alabama now after that great win. Great buzzer beer from near half court by Jemai Meshack on Saturday. But Rick Barnes has a great squad. A squad that was number 1 and the only unbeaten at one point in this college basketball season. Fell off a little bit, but I think on a neutral playing field, Tennessee might just be the best team in the SEC, and they'll show out this week. Jemai Meshack, Igor Milicic, Zakai Ziegler, they put it all together. Felix Okpara, throw him in there, and Chaz Lanier. The best squad right now in the SEC, in my opinion, is Tennessee. Debate me on it. Say Auburn can beat them. Auburn can blow them out. I think Tennessee is going to win this conference tournament come next week. Tennessee, the Volunteers, win the SEC conference tournament, punch that automatic ticket, and maybe a 1 seed. Next one, the Big Ten. I'm not going to be biased here. I'm not going to say Michigan's going to win this because I don't think Michigan can win this. You have 2 7-footers that need to play 4 games in 4 days. It's not sustainable. I'm going to go with the Purdue Boilermakers, everybody. A team I'm high on, even though they have 9 losses. But Trey Kaufman-Wren, Braden Smith, 2 of the best players in college basketball. This tournament's in Indiana. It's a match made in heaven for for Purdue and Matt Painter. They get it done. They win the Big Ten Conference Tournament. Next one, the ACC. It's a no-brainer for me. Maybe you want to throw a Clemson in there. Maybe you want to throw a Louisville in there. Let's throw Duke in there because this team has nothing to lose, Duke. Duke is such a great basketball team. Look at this Duke team, top to bottom. Leadership of Sion James, Tyrese Proctor, Caleb Foster, mixed in with the youth of Cooper Flagg, Conconopple. It's a great squad. Duke is going to win the ACC, no doubt about it in my mind. The Big 12. The best team in the Big 12, and the guy who wins a conference tournament or a conference championship, no matter what conference he's in, Kelvin Sampson and Houston win the Big 12. It's a great team. You got Juwan Roberts, Javier Francis, Emmanuel Sharp, LJ Cryer, Mercy Miller. I can go on with this Houston basketball team. They've done a great job all year long, and they can continue to do it right here in this Big 12 tournament. They get it done. Houston, Big 12 champions. Next one, the Big East. This one I'm throwing upset in there. I'm going Marquette to win the Big East. Marquette could probably win the Big East regular season title if it wasn't for a really rough stretch in February. They lost 3 games in 1 week. If it weren't for those 3 games in 1 week, they'd be a contender to win the whole entire conference right now to be 1 seed up there with St. John's. But they did lose those 3 games in 1 week. But I still think Marquette, at the end of the day, on neutral playing field, is better than St. John's, better than UConn, better than Creighton, anybody else in this conference, because of Cam Jones, David Joplin, and Ben Gold, their trio in there, and Shock Smart, head coach, to put it all together. So let's go with Marquette to win the Big East to round out our 5 conference tournament champions in College Hoops Madness. Stay tuned for college basketball March Madness this year on Schoolyard Sports, especially that bracket episode coming up soon. Now, at the buzzer. This week's At the Buzzer is, I want to talk about Myles Garrett a little bit. Myles Garrett is done with Cleveland. He's out. But where is he going to get traded to? Maybe he gets traded to Philadelphia for one of their picks. Maybe he goes over to LA. Maybe he goes over to New York. Maybe he goes to Vegas to pair up with Max Crosby. The best idea I have for Myles Garrett and the Browns, why don't you just trade him to Tennessee? Get pick number 1. This isn't crazy. This might be one of those insane ideas that a sportscaster likes to throw out there and gets thrown up on NFL memes for it. But I'm cool with that. Because the Browns have had a horrible history of drafting quarterbacks. I mean, they've been horrible. Brandon Weeden, Colt McCoy, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, whoever it might be. Deshaun Watson, I know they didn't draft him, but he's been horrible for them so far. So if you really do want a quarterback, why don't you get pick 1? Why don't you get pick 2? It may seem crazy. Why don't you get Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward? Why don't you get Cam Ward and Jackson Dart? Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart, whoever it might be. Why don't you do something crazy like that? Or what if you get your quarterback pick number 1 and you get your defensive lineman Abdul Carter at number 2? Would the Titans trade their first overall pick for Myles Garrett? I think so. I think they want that pass rusher. Maybe they would take Abdul Carter right now anyways. Why don't you get the actual proven product in there and Myles Garrett, who's still at a reasonably young age, and the defense player of the year in the NFL? That'd be a great idea for me. That's what I'm throwing out there. Why don't the Titans trade the number 1 overall pick for Myles Garrett, and the Browns consider drafting 2 quarterbacks in what would be the most outlandish thing ever to do in an NFL draft? That's about for At the Buzzer this week. Now, the best for last question of the day. This week's question of the day is, should the NCAA tournament expand from its field of 68 teams? It's been a thought in the past few years, but they've never done it. I say no. What's your answer on that? That's about for question of the day this week. That's about for Schoolyard Sports and Land Frank, episode 205. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Instagram at Schoolyard Sports. Follow Schoolyard Sports on X at Schoolyard Sport. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We won't be back here next week. Going on a little spring break hiatus. Back the next week for our bracket special. Everybody, get ready for that. For the best sports content in the world.